Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Phil's Camping and Touring, live on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Guys, honestly, if I could turn my camera around and show you the bluest of sky, it is unbelievable what a beautiful day it is. It's not too hot, not too cold, perfect to be out camping. So, and it's not a breath of wind as well. So, absolutely awesome. So it's been a couple of weeks now. Guys, I can't believe how time flies since I've been online. How crazy. I've just been a bit busy of late and time just goes, you know what it's like. Time just escapes on you. And before you know it, it's 2 weeks without a video. So I thought, well, let's do a live feed. I've got a bit of time spare, so I'll do a live feed and let's talk about anything, anything. This is for you guys. Any questions you have, anything you want to know about my setup. Let's kill a bit of time on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Do you have any questions on my 12 volt 240 volt setup? Do you have any questions on my fridge? Do you have any questions on the 12 volt uh, blankets, electric blankets? In fact, regarding the 12 volt electric blankets, guys, I haven't used them yet because it's not cold enough to use them yet. So I still got one sitting in here and I've got two sitting on my bed in the house, but I have not turned them on yet. So still waiting for the cooler weather. Apparently today was supposed to be a cold change coming through, but not at all. It's beautiful sunny. Oh, love it. If only all year round the weather would stay like this all year round, how awesome would that be? With these beautiful cool nights, perfect for camping and sitting around the fire. And these days, although mind you, it's still a little bit warm here right now. It is we're about 22 degrees Celsius and about 45% humidity. So quite pleasant. I still like it a little bit cooler. I like the cooler weather myself. I don't like the hot summer. All right, let's see who we got joining us online. Brad, the first one to comment, I feel. Michael, how things are going? Things are going great here. And Terry, hey Terry, how are you? Legends. Michael says hi. Hi Brad. Hi Phil. Going great, thanks. Tez. Hi Phil. Hey, there's Robin. How you going, Robin? Good to see you back up and about. It's awesome. I can see a little photo of little Molly there, right beside the, right beside the your photo there. There's a little Molly. Yes, Terry's and Robin have been crook of late, and they're finally starting to get better. By the way, how's this live feed going? Because I'm using that app where it's actually used in combining two connections together, Starlink and my mobile phone, as you can see here. This is combining the 5G off it that's on Telstra and as well as the Starlink Wi-Fi that's connected to my house here. Now the 5G modem is not really good here, as you're aware, but it's probably enough as a backup service. So the stream should be good. Hopefully we're broadcasting in 1080p. In fact, I'm just going to have a quick look here right now. I won't muck around too much at technical today. I'll try not to unless you want to know stuff like that. If you want to know more technical, how I'm achieving such a good live stream using Starlink with no buffering. Hopefully there's no buffering. So I'm just going to quickly check on my own YouTube channel. There we are, says I'm live. Alright, just want to make sure that yes, we got 1080p at 60 frames per second. So, alright, that's good. I can close that. Don't need that up. So that's good. 1080p at 60 frames per second using Starlink with no buffering. It's all to do with this Speedify app that I'm using. If you watched my live feed of 2 weeks ago, I actually demonstrated it online how it worked. So I spoke about it then. I'm going to do a video on it, separate video on it separately one day. I mean, I've only had it for a few weeks, so I want to use it for a while and test it. And to be honest, I haven't done much filming in the last few weeks. So once I've kind of got the nitty and gritty of it, worked out all its, you know, settings and everything, and got it working optimally, which I think I have right now. I've got it working optimally. In fact, right now it's already told me that it saved me from excessive latencies or packet loss 5 times. So that's 5 times in this short time. We've only been on air for 6.5 minutes. That's 5 times it has saved my internet, my live feed from cutting out already. So gives you an idea. So basically what it's doing is sharing, it's bonding together, streaming with bonding. What that means is bonding more than one service together. So I've got them both working together. So if Starlink cuts out, you know, or my phone cuts out, the other one will take over. If both are connected to both, otherwise both are connected together. So then we get faster downloads and we get faster uploads. But also what it does, particularly with Starlink, is, as you're aware, when you're watching live feeds with Starlink, you get that buffering as the satellites change from one, as it changes from one satellite to another. Then you get that delay in the buffering, and that buffering, you don't notice it when you're streaming, you know, Netflix, YouTube, things like that, because it's always buffering, it's always downloading ahead of time. So that when you get these buffering, these short bits of buffering, it doesn't affect your streaming, and you don't notice it when you're browsing around on the internet. But when you're going live using Starlink, well then that buffering, yeah, because there's no buffering, there's no, it's not pre-recorded, saved, and then uploaded. So it's streaming out live. So when you get the buffering, as the cameras, as the satellites change from one to another to another to another satellite, then you'll get that small delay, and that happens with your feed. But by having this Speedify app, when it changes from one sat to another, then my mobile phone will take over and stops that buffering. So, and it's already happened 7 times already in 8.5 minutes. 7 times it's saved from excessive latencies or packet losses. So which is the buffering virtually. So it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So if you missed out the show 2 weeks ago, if you missed out the live feed 2 weeks ago and you want to know more about it, I can explain a little bit more about it, although I think I've pretty much explained most of it. But I can certainly show you the app, and you can see there's a graph there and you can see how it works. So if you want to see that, I'm able to share that live on air, which is not a problem. And now I'll just check to see what the comments I got. Hi, Luke. We got Luke. Is Luke online? Is he? How you go? Yes. How you going, Luke? Let me see. Can I scroll here a bit more? 10 out of 10, Phil. That's great. Just trying to look for the scroll button here. Everything's black here, so I can't see a thing. I have to use the up and down arrows. Here we go. So I'm just looking down every so often just to read the comments. Be nice if I had them up high somewhere up here or just off the side so I can read them. That would be cool. But of course, I'm new to the channel. Looks great so far. Thanks. That's Jaminsko? Jaminxo. 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 I'm not sure how you pronounce the last XO. Jaminxo. Let me know if I got that right. Welcome to my channel. Thank you. Thanks for joining. The more the merrier, the better it is. So, who else have we got? Luke says, hello Phil, how you going, Luke? I missed you 2 weeks ago. You weren't online, Luke. That's the first time. That would have to be the first time I've never seen you on any of our live feeds. Brad Howell says, I bet Buck is freezing his buttocks off in Tassie, especially in his footy shorts. Yeah, you reckon he's still wearing his footy shorts? I was watching the Cowboys lose again last night. What happened to the Cowboys, guys? What's happened to them? My goodness. I used my Aldi 12-volt blanket Tuesday night at the Deer Park at Imbil. Works great. That's Troy. Awesome. So the Aldi 12-volt did work really good. Now I'm really interested. Did you leave it on all night? Or did you find you had to turn it off after 45 minutes? I'm pretty keen to know about that. And another thing, did the cigarette lighter plug get hot? Now someone commented on a mate's YouTube channel, and he rang me up the other day and asked me about it, that they had the cigarette lighter plug on their Aldi 12-volt blanket overheat, got really hot, which is surprising because a cigarette lighter plug can handle up to 10 amps. Okay, should be able to handle up to 10 amps anyway. But these Aldi 12-volt blankets are only pushing just over 4 amps. You know, 3.8, 4.4, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. You'd have to go back on my previews on it, and see exactly what it was drawing, but I know it might have been just a tad over 4 amps. So drawing 4 amps should not overheat that cigarette lighter plug. In fact, when he told me that, I grabbed the blanket and I plugged it in. You see I've got a cigarette lighter plug right here. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, it's just barely on screen. You can see I've got a cigarette lighter plug there. So, which is all fused properly, which is all wired correctly with the appropriate wiring that can handle in excess of the 10 amps that maximum they can potentially draw. And it didn't get hot at all. Okay, I didn't find it get hot. So, I don't know, if the person you're watching here by any fluke, by any chance, that you've got that overheated plug, I don't think that's normal. Alright, so you might want to check your wiring. It shouldn't overheat when you're only putting 4.5 amps through. So, high probability, you've probably got an issue with the plug. I've got good quality plugs here. I like to use a Narva, actually. I tell a lie, that's not the cigarette lighter plug. That's two USB plugs. Here's a cigarette lighter plug over here, and it's a quality Narva brand. Narva, N-A-R-V-A. I've also got another plug here that I picked up while I was down Brisbane a little while back, and from a boating store. So it's waterproof, it's good quality. Don't ask me what brand it is now, but it's got USB 3, and it's also got the USB-C connector on it as well. And plus it's got this on-off button. You can actually switch it on and off. That's brilliant. I went all over town here, and you just cannot buy these plugs with the USB-C connectors, and as well as the USB 3.0. So that's a very fast connection, and that's really handy for, example, like you can have a USB-C to a USB-C connector, instead of having a piggyback or something to, to bring that USB-C connector to a USB connector, and it's also a much faster connector too. You can draw, you can when I say faster, you can actually draw more amps through that, and your phones etc. charges a lot quicker. So that has been an addition to this board here. And by the way, you might notice it's well mounted now. So thanks to Terry when he came down recently, and he mounted it properly here for me, because this is made on, this board is basically made on like a styrofoam material, about so thick. And I thought it's a brilliant idea how they made it on there like that. But I found when you're screwing into it, if you got brackets or stuff you're screwing into this, what happens is that it's, you can't screw it on tight enough, because if you do it just strips, and then what happens when you forward drive it, it vibrates and it comes loose. And so I couldn't get around the back to screw it back in place, and because I've got a bit of a injured, I tore a ligament muscle along here, and it's taken forever to heal, and I can't, I can move my arm forward and back a bit, but I can't use this muscle. I can't lift my arm like that, and I struggle a bit with picking things up as well, so which is a real hassle. So it's limiting what I can do a lot. So let's see. Hi Luke, 10 out of 10. I have had my ears lowered. I believe it or not, I had this haircut a week ago, and it's a number one shave, just all over, number one. I kind of wish I probably went for even shorter than the number one. Next time I might even go shorter than the number one. I like to have my hair cut as short as this, because one good thing, I don't have to brush my hair all the time. Another thing is, it's just, my head feels so much lighter. It's amazing how after you had a haircut, just how, oh, how relieved you actually end up feeling. I'm going to grab a drink. And look at this, guys. This wonderful fridge. Honestly. Oh, I've got to show you something here. Look what I've got saved up. I'm going to cook one day soon. I've got a brisket. I got this brisket here. This slow cook brisket. I picked up at Coles the other day for $15 a kilo. I thought that's pretty good for brisket. And I reckon this is a good size to cook in the, what do you call the, that foldable oven. Terry, are you on there? Can you remember what that foldable oven is called? What brand that makes that? I can't remember. Well, let's excuse me while I grab a drink here. Again, love these upright fridges. If you're actually in the market looking for a fridge and you are thinking about an upright fridge, do yourself a favor. Go for one. Guys, honestly, they are so much better than those drawer style fridges we get, because they take up so much room. This thing's 110 litres and it takes up less room than my 75 litre kick-ass fridge does. That's nice. By the way, Terry, have a good old laugh here. Look what I'm drinking, guys. Sarsaparilla. Oh, I love sarsaparilla. And I tell you what, this is the first time I found, look how many bottles of sarsaparilla I got in here. Well, actually, luckily you can't actually see. I'd be quite embarrassing if you saw, actually, because you can only see what's in the fridge. Freezer, I mean. So, oh, Terry's on the phone. Okay, let me just quickly answer this. Hi Terry, I'm live on YouTube in case you didn't know.
It's a Winterwell oven, Phil.
Yeah. It's a Winterwell oven. There you go, guys. I couldn't remember the name of that oven. It's a Winterwell foldable oven, and I'm going to cook that brisket. And the stove I'm going to use is, what are those stoves that we use are called?
That's the butane fry pan.
The butane fry pan. If you go to your local BCF store, you can buy these butane fry pans. So they use those butane gas canisters, but they come with a tray with a lid, isn't it? Like a what would you call it? Don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I heard Robin in the background say what I'm talking.
You got your butane fry pan, mate, in your Winterwell oven.
So I'm going to use that. The only problem I can perceive is, although it's not really going to be a problem, is that when you're cooking a brisket, you want to cook it over a 7-8 hour period. So how many gas canisters am I going to go through? It's going to be interesting. I mean, the gas canisters are cheap enough, so, and plus it's going to be a very low heat because I want to try to keep it at about, I work on Fahrenheit, so when I cook that, I want to try to keep it on about 160, 170 Fahrenheit temperature inside there, which I think it's achievable. I think I can do that. I can turn it down enough, and that then should make that gas canister last for quite a while. So I have a feeling I'll probably go through 2, maybe most likely 3, although I probably won't go through the whole lot of the third one.
Are you going to use that oven bag, Phil?
Yeah, make sure you use an oven bag.
No, I'm not going to use an oven bag. For those who've been following my channel, if you watched all my live videos, you'll know what Terry and Robin is talking about there.
All right, mate, we'll leave you to it.
Good on you. All right.
Okay,
I'll
soon.
talk to you soon, eh? Bye.
Bye.
That's funny. Yeah, the old oven bag, guys. And that was fair dinkum video. That was not made up whatsoever. I had no idea. If you don't know, it was the first time I was using that Winterwell oven. And I got one of those oven bags, and I still got them in here somewhere in my drawer system that I made for the back of my Ford Drive. My beauty of Pajero. Although I tapped the fridge. My beauty of Pajero. Awesome setup here. Very happy with this setup. So there's nothing I really never need to change here. I can't see any way that I could really improve it. So yeah, it's going to stick with this for a while now. Oh, thirsty weather. So how have you been, Phil? From Terry, I've been very good. Let's just catch up on some of the comments here. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Classic, hang on. Oops, just missed it. Oh, it's not easy to stroll through. I'm trying to... Lady Smurf says, yeah, not too bad. Still getting over a cold. 2.5 weeks now. Took one of my Land Rovers to a car show today, which was nice. I hope you guys are keeping well. Awesome. Yeah, it's good. I'll tell you what, if someone would have told me 20, 30 years ago, people would be taking Land Rovers to car shows, I thought, yeah, you got to be kidding me. Are you crazy? A Land Rover? Now, not just at a car show, a friggin' museum. Now you can start seeing them in museums, particularly the original ones. If you got a stock standard original, say Series 1, Series 2, or even just a Series 3, wow. to think I had an opportunity once to buy, I think it was a Series 1, my brother-in-law used to own many years ago. It was absolutely stock standard. I had an option of buying that for $5 grand. Far, what would that be worth now, Landy? What would that be worth now? This thing was stock standard. I didn't want it because it was a heap of crap. Took it a few times. I drove it to Palm Beach and just about knocked all the teeth out of me gums. It was that rough. So, terrible, terrible. There's no way I wanted it, but if I had known it was ever going to be so valuable, I should have got it and just stuck it in the garage and just kept it there. Same as me Range Rover. I should have kept it too. 1977, fully stock standard Range Rover I owned for many, many years. And end up selling it for like $5 grand in really good condition. Really good condition. Original motors, everything. The motor still had heaps of life in it. I sold it because I'm going to get another drink. I sold it because the Rego, being a V8, Rego is too expensive. And not just Rego, also the hey, sarsaparilla again. Also the fuel, because those 3.5 litre alloy V8s with the twin Strombergs are a fuel gasoline machine. Used to go to Fraser, and I kid you not, I used to see the fuel gauge move. I used to see it move as I'm driving around. So, boy, I could tell you some stories with that one, but I probably should not. But what an awesome Ford drive. Without a hesitation, without no doubt, that's by far the best Ford drive I've ever owned and ever driven. As simple as, well, certainly I wouldn't say it's simple. It's not simple at the time. It was way advanced. But man, that thing was built like a truck, eh? You could not kill it. Mind you, you had to learn how to be a mechanic to constantly tune the thing. If you didn't keep tuning it, no good, mate, no good. The fuel economy would be even worse. So you had to drive around with all the spare points, with the timing lights, and as well as something else, I can't remember, some other thing, some gauge that checked the tacho and a few other things, I can't remember what it was. So I had all of that. So it was not uncommon during the trip, say over Fraser Island, where sometimes I pulled over to tune the motor. Landy Smurf, you'll know all about that with some of those old Land Rover engines. You'd know all about that. There's Paul. Hey, how you going, Paul? Paul Freeman. Guys, he makes the most awesome batteries here in Australia. These lithium batteries. If you're after a good battery, now Paul sells his batteries through his Facebook page. I know there's been a few of you that have contacted me saying they won't purchase one because they don't want to join the social media Facebook to contact Paul, which is fair enough. But if you go back on my video, I think I did a video, not sure how long, a couple of months ago, I did a video on the best way to contact Paul. And in there, in the description, I'm pretty sure I put it in there. Let me know if it's not there. There should be a link, an email, where you can contact Paul direct to purchase one of his batteries. Now, I'm pretty sure Paul is working on a website. So you'll be able to go on his website and purchase the batteries. So as you know, I've got the Mercury, 330 amp hours. Not much bigger than the battery box that was in there originally, the iTech World 120X. So hence why I'm able to fit it in this spot here. You cannot see, sorry. But you've seen it before. You've seen where it is because it's below the camera and I'm trying to point at it. And I'm just realizing you can't actually see it. So, yeah, but it's in the spot where the iTech World used to sit. And the only way it fits in there is because Paul's managed to fit 330 amp hours in a battery box not much bigger than that iTech World battery. It's a little bit higher. The width is not a lot of difference, I believe. Correct me right, Paul. I think it's a centimetre wider. The height's a little bit higher. Most of the times we don't have an issue with the height of the battery. It's always the width or the length to fit in. But how awesome it actually fits in that spot, which has saved me from rebuilding all this again. And I don't want to do that because the amount of times I've built system, I've built this, you know, drawer systems on different layouts, different fridges, and it's taken a lot of goes to get to get a system just how I like it. If anything, the only thing I'd like to eventually add, I've got one of those ARB twin compressors that's in a port. I wouldn't mind removing that from the port and mounting it to the side here. But then sometimes I wonder, you know, to be honest, it's not that often I ever need to have that in the car. I use it a lot at home to check the tyre pressures, and I take it with me just as a port if I'm going to Kincuna or I'm going to Fraser Island. It's about the only two places I ever take it with me. But it would be nice, I know if I do mount it on the side here, I will end up using it a lot more. Because then all you got to do is just plug in, turn it on, and away you go. And where I think it'll come in really handy, you know, you're driving into camp, you wash your car before you go away and it's nice and clean, and you drive into camp and it's got these dirty, dusty driveways. And then by the time you get to camp, you find a camp spot, you got all this dust all over the back of your car. It would be awesome to be able to just get the compressor out, just blow all that dust away. And I'll tell you what, the ARB twin compressor with the tank, that thing will blow anything away. It's mainly for that reason I'd love to eventually get it mounted over here. Now, if I do that, unfortunately I'm going to lose this little storage space I've got here. But to be honest, to tell you the truth, this bugger all I ever put there. Most of the stuff that's in there now, I never use it. I've got a spare chair there. I've got one of these. I've owned this for years. If you've never seen these before, these scrubber trouble wash kit. So that's my washing machine. Okay, I wash the clothes when out and about on the road. It comes with everything that you need there. Here we are. Let me bring it up close for you so you can see that. Can you see that? You purchase these online. I should do a video on this one day. Goodness knows I've owned it long enough. So I should do a video on that. What else I got here? Got some sanitary products for when I take a toilet with me. I got a spare chair here. And I got some spare LED lights. That's all on there. Got there. And I'm sure I'll be able to probably still store some of this stuff in here. I don't know. I don't think so. I reckon if I mount that ARB twin compressor on the side here, it's going to take up nearly all that space. But I don't know how I'm going to do it. Room-wise, to access to get in here, it's not going to be easy. So it's probably something, I don't know. for me to do that one day, I probably will have to pull out, pretty much pull out everything. I'd probably have to pull most of the stuff out. Let me push that fridge back in a bit. Oh, no, I can't do it. My arm is buggered. All right, let's see what else are we missing out. That heat can make the springs get less springy too. Hang on, I missed, here we go. It's not easy scrolling through here. Paul's got some info on the cigarette power plugs. Problem with SIG sockets plugs is that they rely on substandard springs, usually to make connect. If a socket is a bit dirty, which is common, it can cause a bad connection which causes more heat. Well, there you go. There's some really good tips there. And high probability is probably the issue that this guy, if you happen to be watching, it could be your... That's why I always, when I'm not using any of these plugs, I always, even though it's inside a vehicle, they come with these dust covers. Guys, they're not there just for looks. Okay, they're there for a purpose. Alright? So always put them on when you're not using it. You know what I mean. When you're not using it, you know what I'm talking about. Always put these dust covers on when you're not using these cigarette socket plugs or these USB socket plugs that I've got here. I've got two there. I've got the SIG socket plug here, plug, and I've got the plug here with a USB 3 connector and a USB-C connector on there. I also got another two plugs in the front of the vehicle and another cigarette lighter socket plug in the front of the vehicle as well, which I normally plug in my cameras. You can see I've got, again, you probably can't see, that's out of frame. I've got a camera, rear vision camera, because obviously with all this gear in here, you can see bugger all through the window, the mirror, the center mirror. So then you got to use, hang on, turn this on. So then you got to use the some form of a camera on the back. But my setup also has a camera that faces forward as well, and it records as well. So while I'm driving, it records. When I'm parking, it records, etc. as well. And it can also take pictures as well, such as if it hits a bump on the road, you hear a tick. You can hear it like the picture sound where it's taking a picture. So it supposedly depicts if you have an accident. Not only is it recording, it also takes a picture at the time of impact. But you'll be driving along and hit a bump on the road and it takes a picture. So it's very, very sensitive. It's probably better to be more sensitive than that anyway. So yeah, so that's that heat makes the springs get less springy as well. So there you go. So you're talking about the springs that are inside. I don't have anything with a cigarette lighter plug here, do I? Don't look like. No, unfortunately I don't have anything here with a cigarette lighter plug in it. To be honest, I try to avoid using anything with cigarette lighter plugs. I'm not a big fan of cigarette lighter plugs. I've got some lights that have got cigarette lighter plugs and that on them. I mean, I could change these settings and put Anderson plugs in. But to be honest, I think for just low-powered LED lights, I think it's just a waste of time just putting the Anderson plug in. I don't really have the room here. I suppose I could put some Anderson plugs in along here. Don't know. But then you need the space to unplug them too, so it just takes up a lot of space. So Yeah. So that's some really good tips there. So thanks for that, Paul. And as I mentioned, get on to his channel. He's got various batteries. He's got the Scout. He's got the Scout Cub. Is that what it's called? A new one you just released. And the Mercury here as well. And I think you also make 24-volt batteries as well, I believe. I saw there. So, but really good batteries. I reckon this battery is going to do me for very, very long. Well, do me. You know what I mean. I don't know. Coming out with these phrases today. This battery is going to be suitable for me. It's going to last for me for a very long time. Which is great. I mean, it's saving money in the long run. It's got an awesome BMS. Charges very quickly. And match that with the Victron gear. Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, there's no problems. What I've got in here will run a caravan. No issues off grid. And you would even be you'll also be able to run your aircon off this system here. This setup. So Landy's at the car show. He's got the Land Rover at the car show. New South Wales. Anyone copped the hail yesterday? Wow, that's crazy. A hail in winter time. Huh, not something you would normally hear of. So some rain and thunder. Brad, how you going, Brad? I'm all good here. I'm just reading the comments here if you're wondering why I'm looking down here. Terry says Winterwell. Yep. I can see why he rang me up. He probably typed Winterwell, but because I haven't caught up with the comments, that's why he rang me up to tell me what that is. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to cook that. And I'm going to follow the same instructions that I used in that video. My most popular video is that video that gets most views, and still to this day, it still gets something like almost 2,000 views per month, every month without fail, is the video on the 7-hour brisket cooked on one of those $69 Bunnings smoker. That is by far my most popular video. My second most popular video is the video on the 4 different batteries that I've chosen. And that was filmed, 2 years ago? And remember, before I went into lithium, I narrowed down to 4 options. And what were the options? I know there was the iTech World 120X. There was a DCS. There was the I can't think what the other 2, to be honest, guys. I can think of one, but I can't remember the name of the company that made it. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the 4th. I don't know. My memory's gone shot as I'm getting older. And that's my second most popular video. The third one is probably the one on the 4-drive awnings. I did a video showing all the awnings that I've got and a comparison between them, and that was a real good video. So I should do a follow-up on particularly those last 2 videos there, and yeah, particularly on the battery. Now that quite a lot of people are still following that video that I filmed almost 2 years ago, but in the past 2 years, lithium batteries have become cheaper, and there's more people that are now building lithium batteries, quality batteries at home for a very competitive price, particularly for what you get, such as the PowerPole Australia battery, and because I 100% support their batteries, because the battery's brilliant. I mean, it's a battery that you can forget that it's actually there because it's got so much storage. You don't have to charge it every day. You don't have to charge it every day. Like I did when I had the other battery. It was always on my mind. Every day I'd get up. Oh, I've got to charge the battery. I've got to charge that battery. I've got to charge that battery. Every day. And after 2 years of just doing that, honestly, so this is just freedom. Freedom. I don't need to charge this battery for nearly a week. And then I got many options the way I charge it. I can just charge it by a solar panel. I can just charge it by AC charger because my Multi Plus has got an AC charger built into it. I can charge it by either one of my little generators, a Yamaha 1000. Even a Yamaha 1000cc will charge this, no problems at all. Or I can charge it with the Honda. The Honda, what is it? 2200 watt? And I said 1000cc. Wow, I'll tell you what, that's a mighty good generator, 1000cc. 1000 watt. It's a Yamaha 1000 watt. To be honest, it's more like a 900 watt. And I've got the Honda, but the Honda's about 22, 23 kilos. The Yamaha, it's only about 10.7 kilos, less than 11 kilos, and takes that bugger all room. Doesn't charge as quick as a Honda though, that's the only thing. But it's such a quiet generator. In fact, I've never taken it with me camping thus far. In fact, it's very rare I ever do take it camping with me. I only bring a generator with me if I'm going somewhere that's remote. When I know it's not going to be many people around, I'll generally bring it then. Otherwise, it's solar panels. In fact, I still got the solar panel and some of my camp gear still stored in the back here from when I went to Moore Park about 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's the last time I went camping. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. How you see, I've got the inverter on. I'm powering a laptop here off the inverter. So the inverter's on. You can probably see on the screen here. I don't know whether you can read that. You probably can't read it. It's probably blurred out. But, yep, the inverter's on there. And it's showing it's drawing currently 8.4 amps out of the battery approximately. So that's because it's running the fridge. It's running a very powerful laptop here. It's charging the phone. And it's also, the inverter is switched on as well. So, and battery is what, down to 86%. And I think the last time I charged it, I don't know if I charged it yesterday or the day before. Might have been the day before I charged it. And I've only gone down 14%. So, yeah, so that's brilliant. Yesterday morning, yes, I did. I charged it yesterday morning. So it's over 1 day, so it's been probably, what, about 24, close to 30 hours. I don't know what the time is now. 2:40, it would be about 30 hours. And in that 30 hours, I've only used 14% out of the battery. But mind you, we've been running this for, how long we've been running this for now? Does it tell me online here? I'm not sure how long we've been online for here now. Actually, if I bring up the Speedify, it should tell me here how long we've been online for. 48 minutes. And look at this, 48 minutes. Okay, we have been saved from excessive latencies or packet losses 17 times and saved from connection failover 7 times. So we would have been dropped out. I would have lost total connection 17 times. So there was no way in the world I'd be able to do this live stream if I was only just relying on Starlink. So look at that, just saved 18 times now for excessive packet losses. And that's in a 50-minute period. That's crazy. So yeah, it's really awesome. This unbelievable. That's incredible. So absolutely awesome. This Speedify, guys, is just, in mind you it'll only work if you got more than one separate form of internet provider coming in. In fact, next time I go camping with the mates, I'm going to take my Starlink with me, and I'm going to give this a try, a test run, going live with two separate Starlink connections, and see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It may not stop the buffering, because if you've got two Starlinks side by side, will they pick up the same satellites if you're in the same locations? So when one is moving, when it changes from one to the next satellite, is the other, are both going to do it at the same time? Who knows? One might still be connected on a different satellite than the one that I'm using, and if that's the case, then this Speedify is going to work brilliantly. But well, we're going to put that to test to see how it goes. I don't think anyone has ever tried that test yet, so that would be really interesting. Let's catch up on the comments here. The Jaded Chef, how you going? Hey, how you going? Yes. I gave you a good recipe, just don't pull it off too early this time. Yes. I'm gonna have to rewatch that video. So I don't know. I did write down the recipe that you gave me. So Ryan, he helped me out with the techniques and the recipe to do that video, that most popular video of mine that I filmed on that brisket. And the only thing it did wrong is we took it off a bit earlier. But I tell you what, Ryan, it still came out really good and really tasty. But Ryan said that the meat would have come out actually even softer, would have broken apart more if we kept it in a lot longer. So what I was going to do is follow the instructions. Going to watch that video again, follow the instructions. But I'm not sure how early I took it off. I don't know how much longer I should have kept it on there. I know you did tell me. I did write it down, but I doubt I'd have that bit of paper wherever it is now. I don't think I'd have that anymore. So, yep, I'm going to have to catch up on you on that before I do that brisket. And I'll film it too. I'll do it I won't do a live video because then it'll have to go for 8 hours. I'll film a similar video to how I did with that other one. But then, to be honest, that other one, I had helper with me as well, so I was able to do the camera while someone else was doing, like I had a bit of B-roll footage where, started up the Gidgee charcoal and all that. And I think that's what added to that video, why it was partly really popular as well. So when I'm making, I'm going to have to try to get someone to help me do that so then I can film it, or if I get my sister, maybe she could film it or something. Try to do it similar to that. Maybe use the same camera as I did back then. More mobile. So see how I go. Hi Jack Turtle, how are you? It's good to see you on here. That's awesome. That's tops. So, everyone's saying hello to each other. So let's scroll down. Oops, I lost where I was up to. Hang on. It's not easy scrolling through the messages here. Phil just messaged me. Yep, I will do. I'll message you before I start on that. I've got a use by date here till the 16th of next month, although I'm not going to wait till the 15th of the 6th. Although I'm not going to wait that long. Although it's sitting in here, it's vacuum sealed. The fridge is 3.5 degrees Celsius, so it should be right to last a while in there. I need a recipe book, says Robin. I wonder who's got a recipe book. I'm pretty sure I remember someone's got a secret recipe book. And it's a particular person's been sneaking recipes out of it. And he got in trouble as well for doing that. And he called it his own special recipe. I still on to him about that. I cracked up when Robin told me a story about that. She got up him. I shouldn't laugh, but it's funny. Someone, Phil, this recipe. How's the puppy going, Chef? Yes, I saw you got the dreaded chef has got a new puppy. Trouble is, mate, that to achieve induction cooking, you need an expensive system for what is a luxury, not a necessity. Yeah, induction cooking is certainly not a necessity. The system I've got here will certainly do the induction cooking. As you know, I've got the induction cooktop. But the problem with it is that it works all brilliant and great, but you got to get all that energy back in there real quick. So then you got to end up taking more solar panels, or you got to take a generator, or you got to go to plug into a power point. So I kind of use the induction cooktop now more at home than I do when I'm out camping now. The last probably 4 or 5 times I've gone camping, I didn't take the induction cooktop with me. I just taken that butane stove thing with me. Absolutely brilliant. And a little backpacker stove as a backup in case it failed. But now that it's come winter, depending where I go, well, obviously you can't use those butane canisters if it's really cold. So I'll bring a little bag, a bag of charcoal, Gidgee charcoal with me, and one of my Gidgee stoves, and cook over the Gidgee, or cook over the fire, or although it'd be handy to bring an induction cooktop, especially if I'm camping in a powered site, and then I definitely will take the induction cooktop for that, because that'll be perfect on those cold days to cook the meal quickly. Those will be instances I will definitely take it with me, or if I'm going somewhere remote and I decide to bring one of my little generators, then I will definitely won't put that power to the waste and not use it. I will take the induction cooktop then, as well as a air fryer as well. So basically, between a combination of the air fryer and the induction cooktop, I can cook anything that I really want. I could do, it's got a rotisserie, I can cook with a rotisserie, I can bake, air fry, whatever, fry, everything. All forms of cooking you could do. It can be all done just with that, you know. Lukey Reed says, Phil, get mum onto it. Brad Howard, don't think I ever saw your campsite at Harvey Bay. How do you camp? We have a dot trailer. Don't forget Steve from Saw Adventures. He's not on here. I wonder what he's up to today. He looks like I caught up with the with all the messages. He is selling his dot trailer. So yes, it's very well equipped dot trailer. So get in contact with him if you're interested. So far he has only advertised it on a video live feed that he did, I think it was a week ago, last weekend. I'm not sure when it was. Might have been last weekend. Jeez, it doesn't feel like it was already a week ago. How time flies. So yeah, he's only advertised it there, but so eventually he's tidying up, polishing it up, sorting it all out, giving it a good clean, and then he'll probably do a walk around video on it and show exactly what's included with it, what you get with it. And there's quite a lot, so it's going to be a long video. Look at this, guys. There's packet losses. So I've now been saved through this Speedify app. I've now been saved from excessive latencies or packet losses 23 times and saved by connection failovers 10 times. So isn't that amazing? And that's over exactly 1 hour. We've been on here for 1 hour. So it's now streaming redundantly, which means that one of the connections is not working too well. Which one is it? Doesn't really tell me. They're all working evenly. So, and then bonding, when both connections are at a good state, it'll go bonding where it'll join the two together. So, yeah, I'll do a separate video on this one day. Steve's at work. Oh, there you go. He's working on a Saturday, on today, is he? He normally knocks off it. Then he no, I was going to say he normally knocks off at 2, but I think he starts a bit later now and finishes a bit later. Camping show. Someone asked if you've been at the camping show. So, hi Phil. Hello Grant. What's the topic today? Yeah, when I started the video, I said this no real topic today. Just a Saturday afternoon chat, saying I haven't put a video out in 2 weeks. It doesn't feel like it's 2 weeks. I don't know what it is. This year it's just going so quick. The quick flick of the thumb is just disappearing. And I'm looking and I thought, well, I haven't really put an edited video out for nearly 2 weeks. And I did have a live stream a week ago. Was it 2 weeks? 2 weeks, I think it might have. Yeah, I don't even think I did a live stream last week. So I thought I got a bit of spare time this afternoon. So I'll go out in the back in the shed here and try out this camera and all the gear and test all this and make sure it's all working. So I'm going to do a video on this Speedify, show you how it's all, how I set it up, how it works, etc. I mean, I'll be able to show you a bit of it now. Let me bring this up. I will plus add a window capture. Okay, create a new window capture. It should select the one that's highlighted. Okay. All right. Transition. It's not really showing anything, is it? It's just a black screen. Oops. Okay. I had this issue the other day as well. Alright, let me try again. A window capture, something I didn't. What if I go add existing? No, I don't have anything existing. Try it again. Yeah, okay guys, I don't know why, but unfortunately, capture method automatic. Windows 10. Here we are, bingos, that's it. I just had to tell it which operating system I'm using, and now I'll scroll over here. So there you go. So that's the Speedify app. You can see on the screen now. So have a gander at that, especially if you've got a bigger screen. Let me try to make it a bit bigger for you. Transition it over a little bit bigger. There we go. So check that out. You can see it's streaming by bonding. You can see me 2 services there. Ethernet 3, Telstra Internet. So that's just my mobile phone, which is USB tethered to the USB port on the laptop. and then you can see the ASUS, the Starlink there, which is connected via Wi-Fi to the house, which is about 15 meters away, thereabouts from me. So, and you can see the upload, they're sharing, momentarily sharing the uploads between the Telstra and the Starlink. You can see the usage there. Streaming with bonding, you can see the server it's connected to. It's connected to a server in Sydney, which is the number 3 server. Go in here, it shows the latencies. Look at that, one stage I had a latency as much as 340 ms. So that's pretty high. Goes here and shows the loss. So these are all the losses that I've had, major losses that if I wasn't using the Speedify, I would have lost all connections to this live feed here. And down the bottom, you can see here the showing how many streams are active. I've been on for an hour and 5 minutes, and you can see saved from excessive latencies or packet losses 24 times and saved by connection failovers 10 times. There should be another heading in here. Where's the other one? Can I scroll down? What am I missing out on? It doesn't say. There's the statistics for the month. So you can see it encrypts the data as well. So it's got one of those, there we go. But it also increases your speed as well. Okay, so your internet speed is also increased when you're using this. So absolutely brilliant. I can leave it up there for a little while and you can have a look at that. And I'll just bring the chat back up here. Okay, Landy Smith's talking about a show. He must have went to a show recently. Thinking of doing a camping trip sometime in late June or early July. If anyone wants to tag along, they can. It would depend on the weather. It'd be about an hour from Newcastle. Well, if I was down that way, I certainly would love to join you. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, I'm a very far way up north. For a while now. So, 2 hours from Newcastle. So Shad has recently went to a Chapman Valley. You certainly got some nice areas around Newcastle there. I've been through that area, but it's been, it's been a very long time since I've been down that way, even to Sydney. I used to regularly go to Sydney quite a fair bit. So our fridge is now 3.4 degrees Celsius in the fridge. It even tells me what the humidity is inside the fridge, which is 77% humidity. The freezer is minus 26.3. Once again, all measured by these, what you call these Ruvi. Is that what they're called? Yeah, got it upside down. Am I too close to focus? There we go. These Ruvi tags. They connect via Bluetooth. So you can have it connect to your phone. I can download an app and connect this to the phone. I don't bother doing that because it connects to my Victron system. And I've got 4 of these. But I've spoken to them before. And that's how I know what the temperature is inside the fridge. So there's one here. It's the one that's inside the fridge, which also records the humidity. I've got one ambient. I've got one internal inside the vehicle, one in the freezer, one in the fridge. So all that data is also recorded, as well as the amps that's used. We should do an update video on that one day, especially now that I've owned this fridge for a little while. I should do a video on the power consumption use, how much power this is using now since it's been, and maybe compare it with some of the data when I just first got the fridge to see if it's using more power or not. That would be interesting. Yeah. So a few of the guys are arranging a camping trip. It's what I should be doing soon, shouldn't I? So, yeah. I mean, what else can I show you here? You see up here? I can't see. Hang on. Let me move this screen out the way. Okay. You see up here I've got a digital multi-control, but I'm not using that at the moment. I had that here to control my multi-plus inverter charger controller, but now I can remotely connect to it and change all the settings, turn it on, off, etc. by my mobile phone anywhere in the world, or by touchscreen right here. And I figured that's a good way to use it, because say for example, let me move this back over here. The reason why I'll use it like that. So say for example, I out camping and I've got Starlink on and I want to climb up, and it's a cold night, so it's early, go to bed early, and I want to climb up and watch a movie or something on the iPad, and I can have a Starlink connected outside. But then you really don't want to leave Starlink on all night long, particularly if you're not connected to 240 volt. If I connect to 240 volt, I'll just leave it on. But with my phone, I'll be able to just go on the phone and turn my inverter off, and then that will turn Starlink off. But before I do that, I will put Starlink in store mode, because then you can do all that with the app. And then after it's stored, I just turn the inverter off, and then when I get up in the morning using my phone, I can then turn the inverter on remotely, and then the Starlink will start up, and then I can connect to the Starlink without getting out of bed, without climbing up and down the ladder to turn it on and off. So that's why I don't use the multi-control here, because it's got a charger only, off, on, and it's got a current limit where I can adjust the current limit. I can adjust the current limit here, but this one is a lot quicker for adjusting the current limit, and it's more precise. You can adjust it like 0.1 at a time, whereas this one you can't, although on the phone you can adjust it 0.1 at a time, but it's just not as quick as this. So there's benefits and disadvantages with both. That's another thing I should do a video on, should I? I've been kind of sitting back of late trying to think on what can I do a video on now. I've basically got everything on here that I really need. So I could probably start going into more detail and maybe have a video up for you out there that own Victron gear or contemplating to get Victron gear. I might be actually interested in that video. So the difference, controlling your multi-plus with a digital multi-control, what you can achieve with that, or with a this system here. This is a lot better going through the software, through the portal, because then you can control remotely with your phone. And as I mentioned before, then I can turn on and off my inverter, all of this. I gain full access to all of this remotely. Whereas if you if you connect to the digital multi-control, it bypasses the multi-plus control control through. You can't even see what I'm pointing at. You've got that screen in the way. But it bypasses that. So I know I just that's good to hear, dreaded chef, Ryan. I got to go staff meeting with the junior Suisse for some toilet business. That's a good one. I like that one. Phil, you need to come to Tasmania. I totally agree. I need to come to Tasmania. Well, one day I want to take this setup over there. So it'll happen one day. I don't know when. See you guys. I need to go for a rest. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. No worries, Robin. I'm probably going to head off too shortly. It's although it's only 3:07. That's all right. I thought it was a bit later. What about the middle seats in front? Anything there to talk about? The middle seats. Are you referring to my Pajero? I have actually set this up in such a way so that I can still have 4 people in here. Okay? So you know the drawer system, you probably can't see it right now, but if you go back on my videos, you'll see how all this is all laid out. So I built the drawer system here on the left hand side here. It goes all the way up to the back of the front seat, and it's bolted down using existing mounting points where those seats were mounted in the car. So the beauty with the Pajero is that the second row seat are 2 separate seats. So it's got a 2-seater and it's got a single-seater. So I've removed both of those, the 2-seater and the single-seater. The single-seater, I've used up all the space for this drawer, so I've got like a 1.5 meter long drawer here. So it's not very wide, but it's 1.5 meters long. So it's a single drawer, and I found that's all I needed. And on the other side, I've got all that space there where I can still put the 2-seater in there. Now at the moment I don't have the 2-seater in there, but I do want to put it back in. But because of my bung arm, I can't pick it up because it weighs 30 kilos. So as soon as someone's around that can help me, well, actually I won't be able to do. I'll be very little help because I can't pick up any weight with my left hand, but my right hand is still working fine. I'll have to get someone to help me to just lift it up off the floor here and put it back in there because I want that seat back in there so then I can get, I can go places with my mum and my sister in the car, and my sister can have a dog as well. And not just that, it's also designed in such a way that when the seat's in there and it's folded back, leaning back, well then it protects all that electronic gear at the back there as well. So when I put the camp gear in, there's no chance of it falling on top of anything, knocking any switches on or off or whatever. So, not that that will happen. Basically, most all the switches are all here. There's one big switch here. You can't see, I've still got that screen in the way. That turns the power on and off for the rooftop tent. So I can switch that on and off. And I got the main switch just out there that turns the whole system off and on. So I've got one switch so I can hit and it turns everything off, the whole lot. So, yeah. And that's how I designed it. I did it all myself. I learned how to do it and chose all the products myself and put it all together myself. Yeah. Just a long, slow process. Took over many years. The the Victron MPPT solar controller I got here, the 150, I bought that about 7 years ago, guys. It's still working like brand new. So it's not, all this stuff is not all bought in one hit. You know, as I was able to afford one component, I added it in. As one failed, then I replaced it with something better. And now I've got to the stage where I've got this awesome setup here. So, and there's nothing I need to add to it. So hopefully that's what you're talking about, Landy Smooth. Yes, yep, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, so I made it like that. In hindsight, it would have been nice if I had have designed it so that, but I don't think it would have worked. If I had have designed it so that the drawer is on this side and have the single seater in, because it's like half the weight of the two-seater, and because I only need the one extra seat really for an extra person, so it would have been nice to have that seat here and then have this side used, but then I would have had to put this on this side, and it would have been, because this is pretty wide, okay, so it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked, basically. I wouldn't have the room to put a drawer in here. It still would have been. So this is the best method. I actually thought about pulling all this out and doing it again and swapping it over. But after sitting down thinking about it and doing all the measurements, it won't work. So this is the best way. This is it. This is the best way. So I've got it set up, but it's very messy at the moment now. I need to give it a vacuum, give it a good clean out before my next camping trip. And yeah, got a lot of junk is starting to accumulate, a lot of stuff in the drawers here that I don't use when I'm camping, so I need to get all that stuff out and just take what I need. Yeah, that's the trouble. That's the beauty of not having too many drawers in here, because you only end up filling them up with junk that you don't use. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing I'd give the Pajeros, Landy Smurf, is the fact that the seats are split, because they're a 7-seater. So you got another seat at the back, a 2-seater, that folds into a secret compartment right down under here. So there's another hidden compartment there. I can't access it now. But when I had the drifter drawers in, they were such designed in a way that if you pulled the drawers out all the way, then there was a cutout in the base there and you can access stuff in there. So the problem is when you got full drawers and you're out camping, you know, and you got stuff in there, you got to pull the drawers out. It's so freaking heavy, and when you get to my age, you know, the body starts to wear out. Yeah, and you got back issues. The last thing you want to do is be picking up heavy stuff. Oh look, I still got sarsaparilla here I haven't finished off. I like Sars better than Coke now. I've kind of gone off Coke. When I can get it, I'd get the sarsaparilla. But the only time I have Coke now is might go camping. I'll bring some Coke with me. Coca-Cola, by the way, I'm talking about. If you're wondering. So yeah. Yeah, no, so it's awesome. How long have we been on for? An hour and 23. Oh, well, see if we can make it to an hour and a half and maybe call it quits. So go sit down, have a bit of a break, go have a shower or something. And, yeah. I think we're having a bit of a meeting tonight at 6 p.m. on the camping event coming up in August 2024. So we're still planning it. Of course, it's early stages. Of course, we got plenty of time to plan it all. So I believe we're having a bit of a catch up tonight at 6 p.m. Oh, of course, that's not going to be filmed, guys. We're just going to do a video chat between the organisers of that. So look at that. Saved from excessive latencies or packet losses 28 times and saved from complete connection failover 16 times. So what a difference. What a difference this app makes. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. And not only that, it also hides you on the internet. It's got the like Surfshark, what they call a VPN. It actually goes through a VPN. So yes, absolutely brilliant. And they've got quite a few servers in Australia, although they're mostly in Melbourne and Sydney, which is all fine for use down south. But for us here, would have been nice if they had servers in like maybe Brisbane or halfway up the coast, somewhere in this area as well for us Queenslanders. So we then will potentially have even a lot less latency then, instead of like Sydney's like 1,000 kilometres from here at least. It would be. It would have been more than 1,000. No, it would be even more than, it'd be about 1,200, 1,300 k's from here would be Sydney. And that's where the closest server is. But in saying that, it still works really, really good, as you can see here. Let's see the latencies. Well, we had a lot of latency here recently, and that's the blue, so that's indicating it's a Telstra internet. It's copping quite a fair bit of latency there at one period, you can see there. So we definitely would have lost. Look at that. I can understand the Ethernet, the Telstra internet, because it's 5G is not very good at home here. I cannot rely on 5G entirely on its own. We're in a bit of a blind spot, poor area here for NBN or mobile signal. In fact, it wasn't all that long ago that you could not make a phone call inside the house. You'll see everyone, the whole street, will be standing out in the middle of the road. It's so funny. You had to go out in the middle of the road, stand out near the middle of the road here to get a mobile signal to ring anyone. So quite often, you use the phone, you go out the front, you'll see at least 6, 7, or even up to 10, sometimes more residences just all down the street lined up beside the roads using their phones. At least now it kind of works inside the house, but it depends which part of the house you're in. Seems to work better this side of the house than it does on the other side of the house where all my computer gear is and so on. Hence why, and the NBN, well, it's shocking, guys. I got fibre to the node here. The node is over 1 kilometre away, and it's got old copper lines running from it to here that are all water damaged, needs repairs severely, but NBN won't fix it. So I can't tell you how many times I've been without internet. It is absolutely shocking. And last I spoke to the service provider I used to be with, they told me because I went to Starlink, I disconnected NBN, I think it was back in late November. So I can't believe how long it's been now. So I've been using Starlink since, and it's the best thing I've done. The best thing I've done by a long shot. Absolutely brilliant. It's just wonderful. And I've got a backup system, so if I go camping, I want to take it with me. I unplug it and then the backup system will take over, which is a 4G modem. It's a separate 4G modem inside the house. So I have done videos on that in the past, and I showed how they're connected. So I don't think I need to do a video on that anymore. The video never shown any interest. It hardly got any views, so most of my watchers are not interested in anything like that, so I haven't filmed any more about it, how it's all set up at home here. So yeah, let me go through, check the comments. It's hidden behind this Speedify. Go the Blues, yes. State of Origin, no. Go the Maroons. I'll tell you what, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't taken much notice of the teams that are picked. I hope they didn't pick anyone from the Cowboys, because if they did, we are up Sheep's Creek. Us Queenslanders. I believe the first game is in Adelaide, which I don't understand that. New South Wales versus Queensland, and they have a game in AFL territory in Adelaide. Maybe they're trying to, the NRL are trying to get Victorians and the South Australians and the Western Australians to get more on board with the National Rugby League. It's the only thing I can think of why they would have a game in Adelaide. So, alright, how long we've been on for? Yeah, it looks like everyone's leaving. So, there we go, an hour and 30. That's what I was trying to achieve, get to an hour and 30 and then call it quits. So this might be a good time. By the time I disconnect all this, and plus also I could imagine the battery on my camera, I think I only get about an hour and a half with it before it goes flat. So I'm limited to time-wise with the battery that's in my camera. I don't have a way to charge it. You know, you would think it'll probably charge while it's connected to the laptop here for the streaming, but it doesn't power off this laptop here. So before it just boop connects, it disappears without me saying bye. I should say bye now, and we'll call it at that. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining my, let me see, hang on. Let me just try to Windows capture. Make sure I delete the right one. I'm just going to, there we are. Just delete that screen. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, let me show you. Let me bring up a web page here. Let me go to my YouTube channel. There we go. So we go to my YouTube channel. I want to show you something that I'm using some software in here that I can use that captures. Okay. And there you go. That's my YouTube channel. So, whoops. Hit something that's playing. I've been watching some 80s countdowns. I've been reliving my younger years and watching some of the 80s music. There's the Bangles and so on. Onboard Lifestyle's got a new channel out, haven't watched yet. So it's a beauty with this app. I can do stuff like this. I can share what's on the screen, etc. So I can add more than one item as well. So some of the just some of the cool stuff There we go. And it turned it off like that. Just some of the still cool stuff I can do on here. How awesome is that, eh? So, yep, not a bad laptop this. That's the awesome little laptop. So yes, as Lukey Reed says, get off please. I think it is time to go. And thanks for joining in on my live feed, guys. Really appreciate it. I'll try to get some videos out this week. Maybe some videos on what I mentioned. Little short videos on a few items here and there on the updates. See how we go with that. And till then, look after yourself, be kind to everyone, and cheers. See ya.